Hey people, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well and in good health. Okay, right now we're going to check out this Sky News article about landlords. Obviously, the public number one enemy right now in terms of the housing crisis, the renting crisis, cost of living crisis, and all sorts of crises right now happening in the UK economy, and so on. So, landlords holding Parliament hostage over threat of selling up as peers urge to rescue renters reform bill. It's probably around the section 21 issue, so let's see what's going on here. Landlords have been accused of holding Parliament hostage with the threat of selling up to stop tenants' rights from being strengthened. A fresh row basically erupted on the eve of the controversial Renters Reform Bill coming to the House of Lords for its second reading, as one landlord group warned of a supply crisis in the private sector. Now, analysis of government data by National Residential Landlords Association found that in the last 6 months of 2023, that's last year, 45% of people in need of homeless prevention support said the reason was because the owner planned to sell it, i.e., the landlord. This was more than twice as much as the next most common reason, which was landlords planning to relet the property. Separately, data from Rightmove found that 50,000 rental properties are needed to bring the supply of rental homes back to pre-pandemic levels. The NRLA said landlords need confidence to stay in the market and warned peers against attempting to strengthen the reform bill to give renters more rights after MPs in the Commons watered it down. They said that data comes in the wake of concerns being raised by campaign group Generation Rent, who have warned that landlords selling up is a leading cause of homelessness. But Generation Rent accused the NRLA of cynically using their concerns to hold Parliament hostage to the idea that they will sell up or even the smallest strengthening of tenants' rights. So basically, Ben Twomey, chief exec of Generation Rent, said, long term, if landlords sell up, it makes little difference to the housing market. Bricks and mortars do not sink into the ground, and the home could be bought by another landlord, a first-time buyer, or even repurposed for social housing. There will always be some landlords wanting to sell, for example, because they are retiring or because their mortgages have become too costly. Mr. Twomey said, the short-term issue is that tenants have an appalling lack of protection when landlords choose to sell up. He called on ministers to incentivize homes being sold to existing tenants if they can afford to buy, or incentivize selling homes with sitting tenants so they can stay in the property if it changes ownership to a new landlord. The campaign group also wanted landlords to be prevented from selling a property for 2 years after a tenancy has begun, and a relocation relief for renters evicted no fault of their own, so they don't need to pay for the final 2 months' rent while they look for a new home. Well, as a landlord, that would be probably ridiculous, as it seems that the landlords are being punished. You know what I mean? Obviously, on the other side, the tenants are looking for more kind of consistency and more kind of permanent homes in terms of where they're staying, in terms of stability and consistency. So why are landlords actually selling up? The NRLA said there are various reasons for landlords selling up, but the key issues are growing costs and uncertainty of the Renters Reform Bill. The legislation intends to redress the power balance between renters and landlords, has been mired in delay and controversy, with the government heavily criticised for diluting some of its flagship proposals, including the ban on no-fault evictions. First promised by the Tories 5 years ago, the ban has been delayed indefinitely pending court reforms in what has been widely seen as concession to landlords. Now, a spokesman for the Department for Levelling Up, Housing and Community said there is no evidence to suggest that Renters Reform Bill will lead to landlords leaving the sector. In fact, the number of rental properties has doubled since 2004, and continues to be relatively stable since. They added that the bill will deliver a fairer rental sector for both landlords and tenants. However, the Renters Reform Coalition, which includes Generation Rent, said the bill will preserve the central power imbalance at the root of why renting in England is in crisis, and it calls on its peers to rescue it. The RCC want a package of reforms including the end of no-fault eviction, 4 months notice when they are evicted rather than two, and limiting in tenancy rent increases in line with inflation or wage growth, as well as insecure tenancies. Renters are facing soaring rents and poor conditions amid a wider housing crisis, which at its heart is a problem of insufficient supply and spiraling affordability. Ben Beadle, Chief Executive of the National Residential Landlords Association, acknowledged the wider problems and said all parties need to accept widespread calls for policies to boost supply in the private rented sector, and he added landlords are selling up in the single biggest challenge renters face, and the only answer is to ensure responsible landlords have the confidence to stay in the market and sustain tenancies. As peers debate the renters reform bill, it's vital that it works for landlords as well as tenants. As it stands, it would achieve this balance, calling on peers to support the bill to give the sector certainty about the future. But there you have it. Now we've got a to and fro between landlords and tenants, and then we've got these various Section 21 and other issues happening right now with the renters reform bill going through the House of Lords for the second reading. Please do let us know, are you a landlord or are you a tenant? What's your opinion? Are rents too high? Are landlords having it tough? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.